Yes, sir, man. You already know what it is. We're back here to serve some more game on the ground for them hungry hounds who just got the pound and are ready for the next round. As y'all can see, I shaved my hair. This bitch is actually going back kind of fast, bro. He said fire. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's not even my song. That's by a band called Whitechapel. That's like the only song that I listened to by him. I was like, you know what? I'm in the mood to play this shit tonight for the intro. So, yeah, no, we working on some shit, man. We're working on some new music and whatnot. So, with that being said, uh, we're actually gonna be checking out a song. I don't think it's been released yet to the public, but it was something that was requested, sent to me to check out first. And then after that, we're gonna check out this Andrew Tate emergency meeting. This is an older one. I'm not sure how long ago it was released, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. So with that being said, what it do, y'all hiding in the fucking bushes? Y'all, you know y'all can come out and talk and whatnot in the fucking comments, right? Sitting there fucking bush camping like this is Fortnite season 5. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get this song pulled up and we're gonna play this bitch. Yeah. That shit was crazy. That sounded like if Justin Bieber wrote lyrics like Chris Brown. That's what that shit sounded like. Like younger Justin Bieber, not now, but younger, probably like 15, 16-year-old Justin Bieber. If he wrote lyrics like Chris Brown, that's what that sounded like. Hell yeah, that shit was fire, boy. Uh, I'm gonna say something real quick, homie, just 'cause this shit fucking came up in my feed. I don't know why the hell it came up in my feed. Your boy Terry Joel, man, you you gotta chill out, big dog. You gotta chill out. I ain't gonna say too much. I mean, y'all can go over there and look at his channel if you want to. You'll see what I'm talking about. But homie, you letting females run your channel, dog. You gonna run your shit into the fucking ground. Every motherfucking time I see an upload by this dude, he's talking about women. Now at the end of the day, he's gonna make the content that he wanna make. But come on, bro. Come on, homie. You stuck in the past. I think it's time to move forward and discover something new. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ruin their lives over a female, bro. A lot of people crash out over female or females. And at the end of the day, bro, it's not worth it to run your shit into the ground. But hey, you gonna do what you do. You know, at the end of the day, it's your channel. I just, I had to stop watching, bro. He said that song would have him in tears. That's tough. But no, real shit, bro. I had to stop watching, big dog, because like I said, you do you. But I don't want to see you run your fucking channel into the ground and it be dead because people are bored of you talking about the same shit. But with that being said, go ahead and get on FitX Fearless live stream so he can give you some game on it. But no, we're gonna check out this Andrew Tate emergency meeting now. Let me go ahead and get this shit pulled up real quick. Alright. Oh, so I gotta change this bullshit ass layout. He said, I just read the new title. Exactly, bro. So, AMS was right, man. So, he called him out a while ago. At the end of the day, bro, it is what it is. Unfortunately, you can give somebody some game, but you can't force them to run with the game. So, with that being said, for like the third fucking time, let's get into it.
Told ya! Who was the one telling you that soon you will no longer be able to escape the Matrix? Saying that you're running out of time, you need to get rich quickly, one day you won't be able to escape anymore. They're gonna close the gate. And you're all sitting there going, yeah. Told ya! I have been warning you about digital ID, carbon credits. Remember when I was Carbon Boss? I've been warning you about this crap for years. I've been a conspiracy theorist for years. And the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth, unfortunately, is just a little amount of time. Once some time passes, they all come true. I've been warning you. I've been telling everybody. I say things, everyone goes, oh, you're crazy. How fucking stupid do you have to be to still be calling me crazy when every single thing I have ever said has come true, sooner or later? Oh, you were right about that one. You just noticed it before everyone else. But I'm not sure about this one, buddy. The TV says otherwise. You're a dipshit. Your family hate you.
I think I've seen this one already, bro. What the fuck is going on with this shit, bro? Yeah, I think I've seen this one already. So we finna look at let's watch South Korean barbecue.
Hello, friends. So there's some drama in South Korea. As we all know, that is Tristan's fault. So we're going to go deep into the reasoning behind Tristan's insubordination and his undermining of democracy. Because Tristan has clearly caused all of these issues in South Korea. As we know, Tristan's number one favorite thing to do in the world is implement martial law in random first world nations across Asia. And we want to know why today he decided to try and use martial law as an excuse to no longer have to answer to Parliament. So we're very, very interested in why Tristan has done what he's done. It is all Tristan's fault. And we're going to go into that and find out exactly how he did it and why he did it. So Tristan, before we dive in
He said, react AMS video on Terry next. Oh no. We might have to check that out.
to this, I don't want to give an overview on why you did what you did and what exactly you did do.
Well, if anybody remembers the story about my date in South Korea and how I turned super racist and started calling everyone Chinese, you know? You see, my revenge plots aren't something that happen overnight. I don't lash out in fits of rage. I sit and I meticulously plan and think things over. So the people who fuck me over regret doing it for the rest of their lives. Now, that guy in Korea who drank all my booze and whose watch I smashed
9 years ago.
I had to make the country pay. So yes, I am responsible for this. I admit it.
So you've implemented martial law in South Korea. What I want to do to everyone at home is I want to explain this whole situation, and then we're going to apply it to the larger meta point, which is our basic core message anyway, which is that government is a lie. It's all bullshit. It's people in rooms saying things. That's all it is. You get 10 people, you put them in a room, they say something, and then those words somehow matter, and they're enforced by people with guns. What really matters in this world is the ability to project force, violence. Those who have the guns say whatever they want. Government's garbage, and by extension, that means judicial systems are garbage, legislative systems are garbage, medical systems, again, can be forced to perpetuate garbage. Everything is a lie. All that matters is your own individual sovereignty, your own personal network, and your own ability to resist these things. So we're going to talk about this democratic nation, South Korea, which you'd consider to be a very stable country. Although it's technically at war, it's a stable first world nation with democracy, and now there's tanks on the street. We just saw how close America came to civil war when they tried to kill Trump. All of this legality, legal systems, courts, all of this is the Matrix. It's all made up. It's all bullshit. We're going to bring Ryan Dawson on because he's an expert on the subject. So before we bring him on, I thought I'd give an overview for you people who have just realized that in the last 4 to 5 hours, and I know you're sitting there thinking, why should I give a shit? You should give a shit because we're going to apply this to the meta afterwards and applies to the larger point that all government is garbage anyway. This is what's happened in the last 4 to 5 hours in South Korea. The president of South Korea expected an impeachment from the opposition. From what I understand, it's his wife who's under investigation for corruption. So the...
No, let's all remember that this is old, right? This is like fucking back when they tried to assassinate Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, kind of old. So don't think this shit's going on now. I don't know what's going on in South Korea right now, but don't think that this shit's going on now.
wife of the prime minister is under investigation for corruption. They're out to get her, and he's scared that he is going to be dragged down along with her because this bitch has been taking handbags from the wrong people, supposedly. To prevent that, he has declared martial law, banning all political activity. The Korean army came and closed off the parliament because it's martial law. So the army and the enforcers of violence, you can remember this from COVID, in nearly every country in the world, are Zogbots. They don't think. They're not allowed to think. They are paid, and they are allowed to have guns explicitly for the reason that they don't think. You do not give guns to thinkers. If you're in charge of the Matrix and you give guns to thinkers, they may think you're wrong, and they'll turn on you. You need the most psyoped, Zogbot, robot idiots to give the guns to. So these people just follow orders. It's COVID. If they don't wear a mask, it's dangerous for them. So beat them up. Okay, it is dangerous if they don't wear a mask, so I will crack their head with, I'll crack their skull with this stick.
To keep them safe and healthy.
To keep them safe and healthy. It is COVID. Wear a mask for your safety. They're fucking retards.
Yeah.
Police are retards. All cops are bad. I agree. I agree with Black Lives Matter now. ACAB. All cops are bad. Now, we need cops because you need law and order, but they're all bad. Life is duality. Life is hypocrisy. This is the way things work. So the Zogbots came to close off the parliament because that's what they're supposed to do. Because they're not supposed to think. Even though they know this is bullshit, they did it anyway. The MPs of Korea climbed over the fence and made their way into the parliament, breaking through the Zogbots. The special forces...
You know, an interesting thing he said about that is, he said cops are bad, but we need cops for law and order. Just think, right now cops are good. Not all cops, but cops are good. The police force is good until the shit hits the fan and that mark of the beast comes into play and that police force is arresting you for not taking it and throwing you in prison and whooping your ass and probably shoving a flashlight up your ass on some GTA shit because you didn't take it. At that point, they will all be bad.
Just tried to storm the parliament to stop the political activity because it's martial law. But the
Same thing with the military.
parliament was able to vote and voted unanimously to lift the martial law and all the restrictions. The army didn't know what to do then because it was martial law and they're supposed to stop them voting, but now they voted to remove the martial law. So they stood around a bit, then they decided to listen to the parliament. So the same people who listened to the president went and blocked off the parliament. 5 minutes later, decided to do the absolute opposite and walked off. Martial law will remain in place in South Korea until the president issues a decree to lift it. The president is constitutionally obliged to lift the martial law after a decision by the parliament. The South Korean president is expected to be arrested and impeached now. So this was some kind of last-ditch attempt to close down all political activity. Once again, the world is just people saying things, and the one who wins is the one who has the most people with guns listening to them. You know what's very interesting? I follow African politics, and I follow all the regional conflicts and all the things that are going on in Africa. Most people don't care. Millions and millions of Africans are at war currently, and no one cares about it. We talk about Israel, Gaza, we talk about Ukraine, Russia. But if I tell you that there's fighting going on in Mali right now, you can't name both sides, and you don't care. No one cares about the blacks, that's fine. But what's interesting about following African politics is how close to the baseline of humanity is. With Western politics, or this South Korean situation, we have all this garbage on top of the bottom line. Because the bottom line is who has the most guns. But now we have the parliament and the constitution and the first lady got handbags and the MPs voted, all this shit. In Africa, they don't have time for that. It's just, I've got more guns than you, so I'm the president. No, I have more guns than you, so I'm the president. Then they kill each other, then the guy with the more guns becomes the president. That's what politics actually is everywhere. And everything on top of the force and on top of the violence is just garbage. It's just a bunch of garbage to try and avoid the bullets flying. So the garbage's primary objective is to avoid the bullets flying. However, if you do not have the capability to make the bullets fly at some point, you can never play the game of politics, which means it's still all about the guns. So we're going to talk about South Korea. And we're going to talk about how it applies to life as a whole.
I mean, that's 100% facts, bro. Whoever has the bigger guns usually wins, right? Whoever has the bigger guns and the more guns typically ends up winning. That's how it's always been. And that's just pretty much how it always will be.
Whole, and why, even in the most advanced nations on earth, you should have basically no faith in any of this shit. And you should be as sovereign as possible as an individual. And you should do your absolute best to try and implement a culture of accountability and be performing in a way where you are rewarded for said accountability. Winners love meritocracies. I do not want socialism, not because of law, not because of fucking Stalin, not because of Roosevelt, not because of the Iron Curtain, not because of my political professor, not because of fucking jerking off. No, who gives a shit? I don't want socialism because I know in a capitalistic game, I'm going to win. So I'm anti-socialist with nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with politicians, nothing to do with fucking history, nothing to do with Lenin, nothing to do with Tristan. I just know if it's a meritocracy, I'll end up richer than everyone else. So I want to be in a meritocracy.
If you're the fastest kid in school, you're against participation trophies.
Absolutely. And that's why you have to be the best person you can be. You know, when I was poor, and I heard that rich people avoid taxes.
You are poor.
When I was poor, and I heard that rich people avoid taxes, I didn't think we need to tax the rich. That's what losers think. I thought, cool. So one day when I get rich, I can just Aikido my taxes away. Put that in court. That's what I thought. Because I have a winner's mindset. You know, if you get really rich, you can get a yacht in international waters, and there's no laws. Okay, so are you saying we should make laws? Yeah. Well, that means you think you'll never have a yacht. Because if you thought you'd have a yacht, you wouldn't want to change the laws. You have a loser's mindset. I have a winner's mindset. Winners love meritocracies. So I'm anti-Stalin, Lenin, Tristan, and their socialist bullshit. Not because of politics, just because I'm out here to motherfucking win.
I'm going to stop talking to you if you keep calling me a socialist.
That's 100% fact. What did Tristan say?
Not because of politics, just because I'm out here to motherfucking win.
I'm going to stop talking to you if you keep calling me a socialist.
Oh, man, but that's facts, though, bro. Man, he said, you become rich, you can hide taxes. You become rich, you can get a yacht out there on international waters, and there's no law, and people who think all that should be changed have a loser mentality. That's a fact. You know why? Because they want everything to be even. It's not, nothing in life is meant to be even. You're supposed to work for what you want. That's a fact.
Okay, we all know what you've done in South Korea. So let's just keep that in mind. So let's bring Ryan on. I don't know if Ryan's feed's ready. I can bring up some more information on what I've seen going on in South Korea. But that's the basic overview. The basic overview is like all things in the world. The basic overview is there's some dude trying to pull off some kind of famoose. Hear me out. Where's my whiteboard? Ah, it's in the living room because we were playing Smash Bros. And keeping track of me beating everyone's ass. Hear me out. most things in the world are some dude trying to pull off some kind of famoose. Now, I know this seems vaporous and shallow, but I promise if you apply this to nearly any situation, that's what it is. Why is Fauci trying to make us all take the vaccine? Does he care about us? Does he care about humanity?
No.
Does he care about this virus? Or is it just some guy trying to pull off some kind of famoose? You know? There's nearly anything you can name. Look at any guy on the TV who really believes what he believes. Cool. It's just some guy. And the good guys do it too. The good guys do it. Elon's trying to fix America. Great. Why? So that he can use America as his launch pad to conquer space, remove regulation around his own companies, and become filthy fucking rich. It's just a guy trying to pull off some famoose. That's the world. When you see a dude do something, why is he doing that? He's trying to pull off some kind of famoose.
Yeah.
So this guy has just tried to famoose South Korea, which is fine.
Yeah, you can tell he's trying to trigger Tristan by saying the same thing over and over again.
I'm not against it. Duh. What would you do? Tristan, your name's Ching Chang, and you're in charge of South Korea. You're Chinese now.
President Ching Chang.
You're the president.
Chinese president of South Korea.
You're the Chinese president of South Korea.
Got it.
And they're after your wife, and they're going to take away all your power. Would you not try some kind of famoose?
If I ban them from doing stuff, then they can't come after me.
That's politics.
It's a famoose, yeah.
That's how it works. So, we're going to get Ryan on. He's got a lot more information to tell us. I'm sure his may be more insightful than a guy trying to pull off a famoose. But you never know. He might agree with us after all. Ryan, can you hear us?
I hear you loud and clear.
So, who's the guy, what's the famoose, and what's trying to be pulled off?
It's quite a bit of drama. So President Yoon is the one you're talking about. He tried to declare martial law around 10:30 at night, thinking they're out of session. Maybe I could get away with this BS. Didn't work at all. The parliament met in emergency session. You can't just declare martial law, by the way. It's unconstitutional. His own party leader and the opposition leader, the one that got stabbed and helicoptered out earlier, they all opposed it, said this is unconstitutional, and they voted 190.
Sorry. We're going to approach
his opposition leader.
Who?
Oh, no, this is like a year ago. The opposition leader had been stabbed and survived, and there's always drama in Korea. But they all met 190-0, lifted the martial law, so it lasted about 2 hours.
So they all left it.
192-0. That's crazy.
Had trouble getting into the building.
Into the parliament? Is that what happened?
Yeah, because he got on TV and made this declaration that he isn't allowed to do, because there are conditions for martial law if we were attacked by North Korea or if there was an actual emergency, but there wasn't. This is a guy, a simp. Basically, his wife's under investigation. A lot of the investigators, the ones that didn't get disappeared, were dragging their feet. And so they started impeaching his cabinet.
Down. So his wife is under investigation for corruption, I understand.
Yeah, Kim Kyung-hee. She is... she's done a number of things, bribes. Her bank accounts were used in this stock trading scam, and she said, it wasn't me. I entrusted my accounts to scammers, and she's got away with that because her husband's Justice Department acquitted her. Then she took
and there was investigators investigating her for corruption. You're saying some of them got murdered, and the ones that didn't get murdered are just taking ages and messing around and not getting anything done.
Well, one of them committed suicide, but like it's very sus.
That's crazy, bro. You see the lengths that corrupt elitists will go to protect their money and their quote unquote freedom. That's wild, bro.
Right, yeah. He's apparently all by himself too. Yeah.
Wild.
Like he got Clinton. There is some suspect. He was distraught over the guilt because he said that, look, I wanted to investigate her thoroughly, but I had all this pressure telling me to back off internally, not to pursue these things. The handbag and stuff is just sort of the tip of the iceberg. And you might think, who cares about a $3,000 handbag compared to American politics, where there millions in bribes from AIPAC and whatnot. But in Korea, it's a big deal. You can't lie. You can't take bribes. No one's above the law. They've put previous presidents in jail. Korea's first and only female president is in prison, President Park. And Lee Myung-bak is also in prison.
Bro, the first female president of Korea is in prison. Of South Korea. That is hilarious. I wonder what she went in for.
And then President Roh jumped off a cliff rather than going to prison. So And that was 3 in a row, by the way. Then we had President Moon, didn't last long. Now President Yoon, looks like he and his wife may be going to jail. And when the first thing they did when he declared martial law is the Korean citizens were like, And they went right to the Blue House, which is like the Korean White House. They went right to the parliament. And so they had to get the police and the military to try and prevent them, not the politicians, but prevent the crowds from going in and just stringing this guy up, Leo Frank style. So that's what he did. But you are right. A chief investigator into his wife apparently killed himself in the middle of an investigation where he admitted, I was told to back off, and in my good conscience, I don't believe I did the right thing. And there are some that believe he was murdered, and I can understand that position too.
So the very simple story is his wife's under investigation for corruption. The investigators which were investigating her, some died, some are dragging their feet. The opposition are pissed off and they want it done. So they're going to try to impeach him. So to avoid the impeachment, he just thought, fuck it, I'm going to go to jail like all the other presidents did. Let me just try a last-ditch attempt and declare martial law at 10:30 at night when Parliament's not in session.
Right. Well, they were trying.
That's crazy. Bro, if you live in a country and knowing which stuff like that is very highly intolerable, why would you even try to do something like that in the first place? If you know that your country and the people in which you live do not at all tolerate and or support any type of corrupt money bribes or any kind of bribes at all as a politician, why would you try to get away with it? I swear, it's like people see something that they being told they can't do, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be the first one to do it. And then look, 2 went to prison, 1 jumped off a cliff, and another one's about to go to prison too. You can't make this up, bro.
They were set to impeach his cabinet members who were dragging their feet on the investigations. Oh, let's just get rid of them. He's already a lame duck president. He's already out the door. He lost by a landslide. He only got like 25% of the vote. You can't stand him. He's like the second most hated person besides that little nuisance streamer that I'm not going to name because he doesn't deserve it. But his court date's December 20th. I can't.
Yeah, he deserved jail.
Wait, who are they talking about?
And yeah, we're not going to name him, but Korean ex-special forces member knocked him out on video, punched him square in the face. That guy's a fucking G. He's G of the week.
He is.
He's my favorite Korean in the world, and I hope they let him.
He got a free 5-star hotel, and then a Japanese guy sent him a pizza because that person was goofing off there. He already stayed.
I think I might know who they're talking about. I don't remember the dude's name, but I seen a clip where he was going around just acting a fool. And I guess somebody knocked him out.
In jail in Japan, but this gets better because President Yoon was a prosecutor to President Park. So President Park, the first and only female ever that is now in jail, he helped prosecute her, and that's why he got a lot of, oh, you're anti-corruption. You went after President Park, and now he and his wife, or definitely his wife, are guilty of the same things.
So why wouldn't he like?
These are y'all's mates, bro. That makes it even worse. How are you going to prosecute a former president and send him to prison for taking bribes and being a corrupt politician, and then turn around and take bribes and be a corrupt politician? I don't care if it was you or your wife taking bribes. Y'all were still taking bribes, bro. And I bet you I know what it was you sat there and thought, oh, well, maybe if my wife takes them and not me, it won't be in my bank account. It'll go unnoticed. Man, you gonna prosecute a former president for being corrupt, then turn around and be a corrupt president? What sense does that make?
I'm no Korean legal expert, believe it or not, Ryan. You know, I'm a very well-read man. I know lots of things, but Korean law isn't one of them. And Korean relationships and marriage dynamics are also not one of them. But surely, if I were him, I'd just say, yo, wife, why are you fucking up my good name? You know what? Come get her. Come arrest her and find a new wife. Why has he not done that?
Oh, because it's inevitable that her crimes are going to link to his. Like, she's sort of his Hunter Biden. She ran all these art galleries just like Hunter. Oh, it's art. It's a perfect way to launder money because you can't really
Value.
definitively say this is worth this much or whatever. So you don't know how much they're paying for art, how much of that was paying for influence.
So he's tied in with the mess.
He's tied in with the mess, and then her mother's in jail for a real estate scam.
Bro, this just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
It's just Trailer Park Boys writ large.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like Joel Greenberg. What's
So
that?
are you in Korea right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty close to the DMZ actually.
Oh, nice. Nice.
All right, well, I don't want you in trouble or anything, but what do you think happens next?
Oh, he's going to get grilled in the morning. And most of the public isn't aware of this. It's 3 a.m. right now, so a lot of them. I mean, some of them, enough of them went to the parliament already, rushed and tried to get in there. 190 to 0, so there's no martial law. He just got himself in more trouble. His excuse was he's trying to fight the communists, which over here, that's like yelling racist. It's just what, I mean, there are communists.
But it's what
There
they'll
probably
say.
are, but it's just something, it's an excuse. That is totally about his
So who are
wife.
these communists that they fear? They think there's foreign agents for North Korea?
They don't actually think that, but that's the kind of crap. It would be like, oh, Han Dong-hoon and Lee Jae-myung and people. I mean, I don't know if you know these
It's
people,
like
but that's
how,
what you have to.
am I correct in saying it's like how in the year 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, anytime America did any bullshit, they said, to protect our freedom, no matter what
Yeah,
they did.
you're un-American and you like Osama bin Laden. Yeah, it's probably not that level of stupid, but there. I mean, it's hard. Like on a scale of 1 to America, it's about a 6 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean that the Bush era was just the almost the bottom. I think Biden really was the bottom. They had pregnant men, and I just don't know how you get dumber than that. That was an attack on reality itself. With Fauci, you mentioned earlier. I mean,
The
he admitted it. He made it
administration was an
up.
Attack on reality itself. I'm tweeting that and crediting you right now.
Go for it. Thanks.
So
Well,
they
I did
just
the
say
Gates
communists
update,
when they need
Andrew.
an excuse, and they just kind of vaguely blame North Korea vaguely and say that North Korea is vaguely doing something.
Yeah, I mean, if you say communist, and it's true, then it gets people afraid, it gets people to pay attention. But when he says it, it doesn't matter. His
So what have the
credibility is
communists done
shot.
recently in South Korea that's true? What have they done that's relevant? Have they done anything really?
No, they're just worried about moles inside the government because North Korea has been sending those shit balloons, which technically is a biological attack. It's serious, and I can't.
Wait, huh? Go back.
Anything really?
No, they're just worried about moles inside the government because North Korea has been sending those shit balloons, which technically is a biological attack. It's serious, and I can't. It's still comical. I can't help it. Like, it's a big blimp full of poop. I mean, come on, it's kind of funny. But
What did he say? Oh my gosh. Bro, what type of monkey zoo, chimpanzee stuff do they got going on over there in North and South Korea? Sending each other hot air balloons full of poop, full of fecal matter? What? I ain't gonna lie, I did not expect to hear all this in this emergency meeting, bro. I really didn't. That is insane. Y'all heard that right. Y'all heard that right, bro. Poop balloons.
there's no infiltrators. There's no moles. They're after them for corruption. And this is what happens when you have a functional media. Even presidents go to jail. Even while they're in office, they can go to jail.
Yep.
It is a problem with their equivalent of the DOJ over here. But the press is just constantly on it. You do not want to F around in Korea. Another little
Even
gremlin.
the DOJ is corrupted because the media is honest. They can't bury things. Because in the West,
Right.
most people don't realize it doesn't matter what the DOJ does. It doesn't matter what the prosecutors do. It doesn't matter what the judicial system does. What matters is, does the press bury the story? Perfect example, not to be narcissistic, is my brother and I being hammered as human traffickers for 4 years, whereas Hugh Edwards and all these other people who work for the BBC, they have their stories buried within 6 hours.
Yeah.
They don't mention it anymore, and they get to walk away from anything they've done. So it's just about the
Raping
media
dogs.
being complicit and keeping the public opinion on a certain subject or burying a certain subject, which allows them to lie by omission. by omitting certain facts. They effectively only lie because they can only tell part of the story depending on their agendas. So let me just confirm, you're saying although the DOJ is as corrupted in Korea as it is in many other countries, perhaps it's a little bit better, but of course power and influence all go together and there's going to be a lot of shady backroom deals. Because the media is open and honest, they will highlight things that become impossible to ignore and they won't bury stories like happens in the West.
Yeah, it's two factors. I'll tell you what happened.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Shout out to South Korea for having to stomp down media. That's what we need in this country, is to stomp down media.
Call it the North Korea effect. Because I lived in Japan for 17 years, and people there are just sort of apolitical. They don't care. They think it's a blob. It's not going to change, and they're correct. But because of the threat of North Korea, almost nobody in South Korea is apolitical or apathetic. Because you actually have a real enemy with nuclear weapons, and they technically are still at war. People here are hyper-political, and so they do pay attention. And that public interest also pushes the media. Yep. And unlike the West, Korean media isn't an oligarchy.
Got it.
So they go after people, and there is corruption. Like, why, if one president kills himself and the next one goes to jail, why in the world would you take bribes and do the same thing and end up in jail again? 3 jailed, 1 dead. Looks like the 4th one's about to go to jail, or at least the first lady is. She may be able to pay fines and weasel her way out of it because whatever, her crimes aren't as severe as the previous ones that we know of. But if that chief investigator turns out to be a murder and not a suicide, that doesn't happen over here. That murder itself is like 100 a year. I mean, it's just not.
What did the previous female prime minister do that put her in jail?
Corruption.
Graft, bribes, corruption. She was taking advice from some weird religious cult. The typical things. And they said, there's no way. Like, there's no way she was getting away with it. And it would look really bad because they're all excited. We have our first female president, and then right out in Taiwan had their first female president. She's out. And then Park went to jail. Like, but it's
Tristan said good. Oh, bro, listen, he says it so nonchalantly.
Bad because they're all excited. We have our first female president, and then right out in Taiwan had their first female president. She's out. And then Park went to jail. Like, but it's hilarious because one of the chief prosecutors is now the president, even though he's on his way out and he lost his election. And his wife is being investigated. And she also plagiarized her master's thesis and had to apologize about that. They don't like that either. You lie about education? Nah, as competitive as education is here, and you're a plagiarist, you can't get away with that. It's so unbecoming. And they're going to stick to them on what other places would probably consider petty things. Ooh, a $3,000 bribe, whatever. Not here. They feel like if we caught you stealing $3,000, there's probably more behind it. And that is usually the case.
It is usually the case. So I guess my question is, my view may not be the same as your view. I'm not sure what your view is, but I think I explained my view at the beginning of this EM. I think that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that humans have an innate bias inside of them, and that the powerful and the wealthy are always going to be working together to try and pull off a moose of some kind. When they talk about things like there's separate branches of government, I find that so funny when they say, like, the judicial system is completely separated to the political system.
Hunter Biden.
No, as if the fucking president of Romania hasn't talked to the top judges about our case. Like, it's the biggest fucking thing in the world. Like, it's all bullshit for you to believe that these people aren't in the same social circles and they're not talking to each other and they're completely uninfluenceable. This is all bullshit. It's all a lie, these separate branches of government, and they only wheel out that lie and put it on the news when it suits them. And 99% of the time, they're all just shaking hands in dark rooms and doing whatever deals they want to do. So I think that, of course, when I say certain things, I talk in extremes and hyperbole for comedic effect. But truthfully, we're only humans doing the best we can to have some semblance of systems and some semblance of fairness. And they are corrupted. But if you deleted government, I'm not saying the world would be a much better place. It would be a free-for-all, and it would be Somalia. So I'd understand all of this. But my point is that what they're saying is happening is also a lie. Which government on the planet do you think is the fairest? Are there any governments which aren't corrupt? Are there any governments which you think are genuinely run the way a government should be run?
What you said, I agree with, as far as it doesn't really matter if you divide into judicial, legislative, and executive. You try the division of powers experiment. It might take a little bit more time to corrupt that and more collusion than just having an autocrat or a monarch or something. But the opposite's true too. You might have a benevolent king or something. But I don't think it matters the type of government you have compared to the type of culture you have. I think everything's downstream from culture. So if you don't have a functional media, if you don't have a culture that actually shames wrongdoing, then whatever type of government you have, it doesn't matter if it's communist or fascist or imperialist or whatever, all these forms of government, we've seen them murder millions of people. We've seen them steal. They all get together. They don't care about you. It's rich versus poor, plutocracies, been that way since ancient Greece. And so the element of like, oh, let's just vote in the right people, it will not matter until you change the culture. And the most effective way to change the culture is through mass media. And that's why.
Man, that's 100% facts, bro. He just spoke facts right there. The culture is not gonna matter what kind of government you have if the culture doesn't see wrongdoing as being bad. Man, and the way to change culture is through mass media. He ain't said one lie right there, bro.
They ban people with reach and are so scared to death of anyone that isn't a degenerate, and that's why they also boost degenerates. Like if you have YouTube privilege, you're probably doing something wrong or you don't matter. It's like you always say, it's the level of censorship you receive is balanced with your significance, correlated to your significance. Yeah. And that's so if you're like, well, which governments are less corrupt? They're all corrupt. It's how many have to deal with a population that will hold them to account as much as possible. And I think East Asia is pretty good.
What do you think of
relatively, I'll take that. Yeah, of Europe, Switzerland, they have a lot of white collar crime with banksters and whatnot. They don't have a lot of
banksters,
street violence type of thing. I don't like everyone around them seems to have open borders other than maybe Hungary. So it's not bad for Europe. Not on the level of Japan or something yet. I mean, they're not there. You won't even find a cigarette on the street over there outside Tokyo.
Yeah.
So,
because Switzerland had a political system, which I researched, which seemed very interesting and pretty fair. But then Davos and WEF and all those fuckers are there, and it makes me think, well, which one is it? I'm not sure. I mean, they have Bitcoin, and they have the Satoshi Nakamoto statue, and they have this very fair democratic system with all these hundreds of referendums a year, and you get to choose how your own country's run. And at the same time, the WEF and Davos is there, and I can't work out which one it is.
Well, they meet there, and it's seen as like the neutral spot. But you got to compare it. I can't believe they can pull that off. Even Sweden, too. And I don't like their open borders, but they didn't go along with this COVID nonsense.
Sure.
And the U.S. system, as bad as it is on foreign policy, there is some semblance of state rights. Tennessee, Florida, and some places say, we're not doing this. We're not doing the COVID stuff. We're not having boys in the girls' bathrooms. So it is good that you do have levels of government. The problem is the federal government is way too big. You have a Fed that can arbitrarily expand the money supply. There's so many problems. And, of course, parasites flock to the largest host, and that's the United States. But I tell people all the time, if you think it's bad, and it is, the American imperialism, you have no idea how much worse it would be if China was the superpower or some of these other places. America is horrible, but it would be so much worse.
Say TikTok restored access, clown app, bro. You can't make this up. After like an hour later. Oh man, TikTok is a goofy ass app. That's a fact. But man, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't expect to unpack all this in this emergency meeting, in this reaction. We're gonna have to save AMS for tomorrow, well, Wednesday. Cause I got other things I gotta do. He said, you unplugged from the Matrix when you mad TikTok, didn't they, man? Yeah. Oh, look, now y'all want to come out the bushes and start coming up in here, man. Come on now. At the end of the live, y'all really couldn't come in here earlier and come, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So do a quick one. I know, bro, I got things I got to do. I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see. Look, bro, I'm going to show you what I was talking about at the beginning of this live, bro. I'm going to show y'all what I was talking about. Just take a look at all these videos, bro. Take a look at all these videos. Go ahead. I was actually showing old stuff. That's crazy. Modern women. she she lost interest and pulled away. How to reattract her fast, bro? You can't make this up, bro. In all caps, men cannot live their lives for women anymore. Women don't even like us. Women are obsessed with making men fall in love with them for fun and games. Women lead men astray on purpose for validation. Women are lying to you about everything and more. Why most women will leave men in relationships. Why women will pursue you, then ghost immediately afterwards. Stop communicating with women who act like this when dating. Let that Jezebel go. She holding you back. For the average man, there is nothing to look forward to these days. Bro, I typed in AMS, Terry Joel Jr., and this is what came up, bro. The cold truth about 304s. This is when a woman will start missing you. How women purposefully break men when they get into relationships. Many men are avoiding women entirely. Most women have delusional dating standards. He made that thing 4 years ago, bro. It says stop. Kevin Samuels speaks about weak beta men. So I think he deleted it. I don't know. That's tough. Relationships are a complete embarrassment nowadays. They all make the same stupid mistakes. Men who are naive to female nature are getting obliterated. That's tough. He says it's gone. That's tough. But hold up. You know what? I'm going to show y'all how bad it is gotten lately. I'm going to show y'all real quick. I mean, this is not even the cherry on top, bro. Women only fantasize about men who have other women on the roster. Never try to please the woman, her biggest turnoff. Never reciprocate a woman's highest interest towards you. Most women are demons in disguise, plotting on your downfall, bro. Women devalue men for their own self-validation. Why the girl you want don't want you back? Women are demonic, spirited, possessive, and controlling people, bro. Women are becoming desperate. Women think men are easy until they try to find a husband. Women will do anything to survive. You can't trust them. Every man faces a lonely stage. Women never satisfied in relationships. Why most women will leave men. Bro, like this is what I'm saying, bro. Homeboy over here talking about women are demonic in nature and how women will sit around and do whatever they need to do to survive. Of course they're going to, bro. Of course a female's gonna look for the best man that she think can provide for them, bro, and you just not it. And there's different ways to provide for a female, bro. There's emotionally, there's physically, there's food wise, there's financially. Like, oh my gosh, bro. The fact that this dude said that most women are demonic in nature is crazy. It's crazy. He must have forgot. We ourselves are natural creatures made from the earth. So we have similar instincts to how wild animals do. Now, we don't always go off of them instincts like wild animals do, but we're wired in a similar way with a higher conscience, with a higher understanding of life and the earth and the purpose of life. But we're wired to do the same things, you know? We go out, we hunt, we gather, we kill, we bring home food, we, what's it called? We procreate, and a female gonna look for a man that she can get with so she can survive. And that's how the population survives. And this dude talking about women will do whatever they need to survive. Of course they will, bro. It's crazy. The only difference is you seeing females acting out more so of their animalistic side than their human side. That's the only difference. You see a lot of dudes doing the same thing too. A lot of dudes be out here laying up in bed with another female every night. They're just acting out on their animalistic instincts. And that's really all it is, bro. And I can't believe that, bro. I can't believe that, bro. That is insane. I just got brain rot from reading those two titles alone just gave me brain rot, bro. You can't make this up. That's your mate. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share it with your friends, your families, your members, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. I'm getting out of here, dude. Peace. No outro tonight. Too much brain rot.